Conversations with a retired crash out. I think that's where I want to start. What does crash out mean to you?
Whoa, crash out. First and foremost, what's good, family members? How y'all be? This your main mellow duck. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna spit some jewels on y'all. Pull your sifters and your toolboxes out. Let's get into some real dialogue. See where we go. What does crash out mean to me? To crash out means to put it all on the line for what you believe in, for what you stand for what you're doing, for what you uphold, for your principles. You know, put it on the line for that. All out.
You're making it sound like crashing out is a positive thing. Was it a positive thing that you were doing when you were crashing out?
Was it a positive thing when I was crashing out? Well, I had a mindset of sometime to do right, you got to do a little wrong.
Okay.
So in the process to make sure, you know, that my people and myself had what we needed, you know, it was necessary to put a little bit of work in, if I should say, so it was a positive that I was willing to put myself, to sacrifice myself to make sure other people had what they needed. So yeah, it was positive.
Okay. I think now when people refer to crashing out or being a crash out, you seem to be like unpredictable or uncontrollable, seem to be like in a less controlled mood. Did you feel like you were under full control of yourself, or do you feel like there were very few barriers that kept you from taking it to like another level?
Oh, absolutely, I was in control.
Okay.
Definitely in control. Because again, the thought of the crash out was to go all the way in a way to where I was going to be cool and my people was going to be cool. So those are calculated thoughts and calculated steps. So just to crashing out on the situation meant that I had to have a plan and execute that plan to the fullest.
Okay.
So definitely in control of the thoughts and the situation.
What part of that period made you stop and think, I'm taking this too far? I'm taking too many risks. What made you retire from crashing out?
Well, there come a time in life, where it's a flip side to that coin, things ain't gonna work out. You ain't gonna make every shot. You're gonna end up in some situations and some tight squeezes that where things ain't gonna be cool. You may not be cool. Things may happen. Things may unfold that you didn't see. And that time, a lot of thoughts gonna go through your head. Some situations was, hairy. Some situations unfolded to where, it was a close call. Some situations unfold where, I ended up down the way. My people ended up down the way. Situations, was just didn't work out how we thought. And it's always them opportunities or them times where you're going to think to like, which way I'm going to take my life? What am I about to do? Am I going to keep on doing this? Is this really worth it? Am I really being selfish or am I being selfless? So those opportunities and those times is like, yo, I'm tired of doing this. That rush. When you get older, what they call it being young and dumb, you know what I mean? That wear off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That superhero persona wears off. And it's like, yo, this ain't cool. Because living, that fast life, it's only a couple options. You know what I'm saying? I'm this many days old, this many years old, 46 to be exact. And I don't know no OGs, that's my OGs that done retired out that, so-called game. Ain't no retirement plan, ain't no retirement packages. It's either life down the way or, to the box. So, like, what means the most to you?
Now, for those of us that have pretty much lived a sheltered life, what does down the way mean?
Down the way mean in prison,
Okay.
incarcerated, down the way, up that road, catching the chain. You out of there. You struck out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got an F on your pack, an F on your name, you know what I'm saying? You got to go and take that road. The big boy, the school of hard knocks, you know what I'm saying? The pen, and no matter how ones try to glorify that shit ain't cool.
Right.
Not even a little bit. Not the stuff that they make glorifying and fun. That ain't cool.
Mm-hmm. What do you feel like was the biggest misconception that others had about just being quote unquote outside in that way?
The biggest misconception of ones having being outside is like, it's cool.
Mm.
That's the biggest misconception, like being in the streets, being outside, being down the way, being in the gangs, being with the guys. Mm-hmm. All that shit is just, it's fake. It's a persona. It's a mask. That shit ain't real. Mm-hmm. Because again, any man that ever been down the way or ever been in any street situations where things got serious, they could tell you they was afraid. Yeah. My OGs told me, if you ever do something or in a situation with somebody who ain't got nothing to lose, then you doing the wrong thing with the wrong people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because again, if you just out there dangling with nothing to lose, then you really, what you got going on? You know what I mean? Being outside ain't where it's at. Yeah. For real. Yeah. Because if you outside, that mean you ain't got no place inside.
True that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You all out. Mm-hmm. So is you out or is you in?
Yeah.
Get in where you fit in.
Right.
For real.
Right. That leads me actually to my next question. I want to kind of lighten it up a little bit.
Come on with it.
What's the dumbest reason that you did, I guess, something dangerous?
The dumbest reason?
Yeah.
Because they didn't think I would. Because they didn't think I would. A lot of times when we out there in them streets, man, a lot of that shit, they don't be wanting to do.
Yeah.
I got so many little homies down in the penitentiary right now to where they did something they made permanent decisions on temporary feelings, mm-hmm. or they did something because that's what the guys say they should have did, or they live by this false set of street rules that don't even exist no more. Mm-hmm. So, you do this, I gotta do that. You say this, so I gotta do that. You do this, I gotta do that. And a lot of times they don't even really live by those rules. And then they get in the rules from people who don't even know the rules. Mm. So therefore, a lot of times it be peer pressure. And just because other people is watching, mm-hmm. that'll make one jump smooth off the porch for no reason whatsoever. Crash out.
Yeah. What was the wildest "this ain't it" moment that you ever had?
The wildest "this ain't it" moment?
Like maybe you didn't quit altogether, but you definitely was like, I'm going to exit stage left on this one because hell no.
There was so many of those. I had, I was lucky enough or blessed enough, to be honest. I was blessed enough to have a set of OGs who had some values and some principles. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they wasn't with all of that foolishness and mess.
Okay.
When I was out here, pushing packs or whatever, my OG, Joe Stickham, I pulled up to his house and I had my music bumping because I'm copping packs now. I'm making a little bit of noise. I got my music bumping because I'm like, yo, I'm living the dope boy life. This is what dope boys do. And OG Joe Stickum, you know what I'm saying? He was so upset because I pulled up with my music bumping. He was like, if I wanted everybody to know what I was doing, I would have told them myself.
Yeah.
Don't you ever pull up here with all that music, making all that noise at my house. That ain't how you do nothing. Your business ain't everybody business. My business ain't everybody business. You know, you putting a target on you and a target on me.
Right.
Why we doing that? If that's how you got to move, don't come over here. You know what I'm saying? I respected OG, you know what I'm saying, not only as a mentor, but, you know, as a person who was giving me cheap work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I was making his business hot and jeopardizing myself at the same time. So that was definitely one of my opportunities. Like, yo, I can't do that no more if I want to continue the relationship with my OG and continue to get work. So that's one of them small opportunities to where I had to wise up, you know, before things got worse.
Okay. What was one of the biggest L's you took that now when you look at it, you like, nah, that actually was a blessing. It wasn't a loss. It was like a saving grace. Like you glad it didn't work out.
Going to prison.
Okay.
Going to prison at 22 years old. I didn't have a high school diploma. I was a high school dropout with 2 kids and no future. At the time, you know, that was the worst case scenario, but I went in a boy and came out a man, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally.
What were ways that you were able to do that? I know, you know, prison is supposed to be for rehabilitation, but as many of us know, that's not always the case.
Right.
So what choices did you intentionally make to make sure that you were in a space of growth and not a space of it just, you know, time just being spent?
I took the punishment and made it a positive. I took lemons and made lemonade. If they was going to make me be there, I was going to read every book that I could read. I was going to strengthen my mind. I was going to educate myself. I was not going to get caught up in the foolishness of none of that. I was going to, you know, just learn and become the best person that I could be while I was there because I had to be there. So I kind of like took the punishment and made it a positive. Okay, y'all gonna make me be here. I'm gonna come out of this motherfucker the sharpest and the smartest young, you know what I'm saying, OG, that, you know what I'm saying, I knew how to be. You know, I found God in the penitentiary.
Okay. That changed you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Applied some principles to my life and I stood on that. I found me.
Yeah.
You know, and that was my saving grace because again, being out here just in these streets, we wasn't really applying principles. You know, I wasn't a man of action.
Yeah.
And it just made it all make sense.
Yeah.
Like, who are you?
Yeah.
You know, they say I'm about to be this, but I'm not about to be this. I'm about to take this situation and utilize it to my good. I went in a high school dropout. I came out with a college education. 2 of them. The School of the Hard Knocks and Ball State.
There you go.
Thank you, Lord.
You're right about that. My goodness. You're good at this interviews.
Truth. Just telling my truth.
So looking back, and I don't want you to think about your kids. I want you to think about Duck as an 18-year-old Duck. I think that's around the time I knew you.
Yeah. Younger than that.
Yeah, true that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What advice would you give 18-year-old Duck?
It's an old song. It go, take your time, young man. Don't rush to get old. You know, lay low, play slow.
Yeah.
You got it. Experience. Build relationships. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. You know, tell somebody that you love them while you can.
Right.
You know, So many things that I would tell that young man.
Yeah.
So many things that I would tell that young man. Stop being so hard-headed.
Yeah.
You know, stop being so bullheaded. Stop being so stubborn. You know what I'm saying? But again, the most important thing, be kind to yourself.
I like that. I like that a
Be
lot.
kind to yourself.
Yeah. Do you think he would have listened?
18-year-old Duck, probably not. He probably would have thought I was some kind of fruit or something, telling him that. But you know what I'm saying? But 18-year-old Duck still had a solid head on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
He just was trying to find his way in a world that was moving so fast.
Mm-hmm.
He grew up too quick.
Mm-hmm.
On his own recognizance, that is.
Yeah, so say he didn't have to, did he?
He grew up too fast on his own recognizance. And that's kind of like the scary thing, you know. So I would tell him to slow down. Take your time, young man. Don't rush to get old, you know.
Yeah. What are some of the habits you picked up along the way in the crash out period that you knew you had to let go of to level up?
Some of the habits, it's a situation to where you really don't have to let go of the habits per se. You just have to refocus them.
Okay.
You know, you have to refocus them because you have to adopt the mind of a man that stand on business, whatever that look like. You have to adopt that. And as a square, L7 or whatever you want to call it, you know, upright, independent, fearless, you know what I'm saying, man that's trying to stay out the way these days, you have to still stand on them same principles. You have to still apply principles to your life. You have to be a man of action. You have to be a man of your word. You know what I'm saying? If you say it, mean it. You know what I'm saying? Stand on truth. Stand on love. You know what I'm saying? Be, you know, don't cost you nothing to keep it 100. Don't cost you nothing to keep it real. The best things in life are free. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, I didn't have to put away any habits. It's just restructure my thought process. Because I associated, I collected some really good tips, you know, through life. I can give my OGs, I could tip my hat to my OGs and say, hey, yo, they really gave me the game at a real young age. You know what I'm saying? And I won some and lost some. I made some shots and missed some shots. But as you restructure that thought process, it all makes sense. And it's all for something. Yeah. It's a lane. It's a time for everything. Take your time, you know.
What's one lesson you feel like you already learned the hard way, and those coming after you, your kids, your nephews, nieces, because of you, you feel like they don't need to learn that lesson? Maybe some advice you've offered.
I always told myself, I don't need nobody. Self-made. Mm-hmm. That's a false narrative.
Yeah.
That's a false narrative. No man lives unto himself. One living thing, every living thing is bound by a cord to every other living thing. So for me or you or anything or anybody else to say I'm self-made, that's a false narrative. And that's what our generation or our society of people is full of, false narratives. You know, so don't be afraid to ask for help. It is in wisdom to let people know or to acknowledge how much you don't know. You don't know everything because you ain't been through everything. So you can't know everything. Mm-hmm. One of the wisest things that I had to realize is how much I did not know. And once you realize how much you honestly don't know, that humbles you. You know what I'm saying? The Most High God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. That means you're supposed to listen twice as much as you talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So therefore, slow down and just take it in, see it for what it is. It's a lesson and a blessing in every situation. It's just up to us to see it. So therefore, take your time.
What was the moment that you learned what peace and silence were like? Or have you learned that?
Ooh. The moment I learned what peace and silence was, I was afraid of it.
Mm.
I was afraid of it because, again, once all the noise is shut off, now you got to deal with the man in the mirror. And can you handle that?
Mm-hmm.
All the lies and deceit and bullshit that you done told yourself, that you done talked yourself into. Now, when all the noise stops, can you deal with that person?
Yeah.
I'm this many years old, this many days old, and I'm just now learning how to appreciate peace.
Yeah.
And what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And once you receive it, once you see it, once you taste it, once you touch it, the goal is to seek it and pursue it. Seek peace and pursue it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the arts of war is to win the battle before the fighting starts.
Mm-hmm.
The battle is within
Mm-hmm.
you.
Yeah.
I'm my biggest op. I'm my biggest enemy. You your biggest foe.
Mm-hmm.
The lesson tells us, if you ask me what to study, I would say yourself. And you have well studied yourself and come to me again and ask me what to study, I will again say study self. Know thyself.
Yeah.
That's a perpetual study. That's a study that's going forever, be in motion, going to be forever going, because as man unfolds, as God unfolds. As you unfold, your God today ain't going to be your God tomorrow. Your level of understanding today wasn't your level of understanding yesterday, so on and so forth. So therefore, you have to be in continuous study to know yourself. And to know yourself, you got to be in commune with yourself. You got to be in communion with yourself. You got to have a relationship with yourself. So therefore, it's okay to quiet all that noise and just talk to self.
Mm-hmm.
I found out that it's not a bad thing to talk to myself.
Yeah.
Who you talking to? Me.
Right.
Thinking out loud is what I call it.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, once I learned that, at first I had to establish who I was, and then I like this person. Then as I started to court this person, I fell in love with this person. Now I want to have a relationship with this person. Now I want to talk to this person all the time and be around this person all the time. Who am I talking about? Me.
Yeah.
I love me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm good with, being amongst me, being around me.
Yeah.
I think I'm a cool guy.
You are kind of cool.
Sometimes. Thank you, Lord.
What's something that used to excite you, and now when you think about it, it stresses you out?
Something that used to excite me, now it stresses me out. Groups of people. Groups of people.
I can relate to that.
I used to love to be in the mix of things, in the mix, in the mix, outside, what they say today. But now it's just mixing energies that I don't really care to do or don't really desire to do. Again, it goes back to what I said. I like being around me.
Yeah.
When I go into the mix, that's what they call a mixer. Just going in the mix. A mix of what? A mix of energy, a mix of spirits. You know what I mean? And you putting yourself in the mix, you might end up with some of that on you or in you. So therefore, you have to be careful with who you allow around you or who you allow yourself around. My OG told me one time, he says, pick up your phone right now and call Michael Jordan or call Oprah Winfrey.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I can't do that. Why? Because they are unavailable to you. You ain't on their level and they ain't on your level. So therefore they unavailable. So therefore you have to move in that same light. Stop making yourself so available to people who ain't on your level.
I like that.
Sometimes you just got to be unavailable.
Mm-hmm.
And that protects what we talked about before, your peace.
Right. I like that.
So groups of people. I love my people. I love black people, but I hate niggas. And niggas ain't black people. All niggas ain't black.
No.
I could give you a whole measuring, a whole drawing on that at a later hour, but you understand what I'm saying. Pick up what I'm putting down.
Yeah.
What's worse than one nigga? Two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that ain't got nothing to do with the color of your skin. For real.
Yeah.
Niggerish mindsets.
Yeah.
Ignorant mindsets.
Mm-hmm.
That's what bothers me. That's what gets on my nerves the most.
Right.
Don't like it. I can't deal with it. I don't have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
I can turn the channel or turn the page or turn it off or move around.
There you go. I like that. I like that. How you feeling?
I feel good.
Good.
I feel good.
Am I being too nosy?
Nah, I tell you if you are.
What's the funniest lie you used to tell yourself to justify making bad decisions?
I ain't doing nothing. I ain't doing nothing. You know? Yeah. I ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
Now you tell me, I ain't did nothing. I ain't did nothing. I ain't doing nothing. You know?
Doing a lot.
Doing a whole bunch. Doing the most. Talking about you ain't did nothing. Yes, you did. You know what I'm saying? Even doing nothing, you doing something. So therefore to say you ain't doing nothing, that further tells me you lying.
Doing all the things.
You know, I ain't doing nothing. Ain't no such thing as doing nothing. Even doing nothing, you doing something. So to say I ain't doing nothing, I ain't did nothing. I ain't even say nothing. I ain't even do nothing. Mm-hmm. You lie. You know what I'm saying? You lie. So yeah, that was to justify my bullshit. I ain't did nothing. I ain't doing nothing. Ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's bullshit.
No, that's a good one. Let's take a break.
All right.